How's it going, guys? Jack here, and this is going to be my first tutorial in a new series I'm doing, which is going to be me showing you how to create some simple graphics in Photoshop, sort of simple logos like the one shown here. I'll be taking requests for this as I don't have any ideas. This was actually requested by someone, and so I said I'd do it, and we'll crack on. Today we're going to be creating something similar to this sign here. It's very simple to do, very basic, anyone can do in Photoshop. You don't need any plugins or anything, just need, well, you can do it in any Photoshop CS3 and above as far as I know. It looks quite professional and it's simple to do. Right, so we'll get started. You go to File, New, or Control N, Command N, and create a document size, width 500 pixels by 500 pixels of height. Resolution doesn't matter, background colour doesn't matter. YouTube's already starting to take images for logos that are 800 by 800, but I prefer working in 500 by 500 because, well, it's what I've been used to for the time I've been doing GFX. And so you get your new document and you want to unlock the background layer. To do this, just double click on the layer tab over here and click on OK, and it will unlock the layer. Then double click on that layer again and you'll come up with this layer style box where you want to go to gradient overlay, and then click on this bit here and double click on the white colour and change that to whatever colour you want the background to be. I'm going to go for a sort of dark purpley colour like that. Look, which looks alright, and I'd quite like using purple in my images. Don't know why, just think it worked quite well. And then just click OK on both of those. Next you want to go to the text tool down here and click on the screen and then type whatever letter you want. For this tutorial I'm just going to use the letter A. I'd normally use, say, like the first letter of the YouTube channel, so for me it would be J or something like that. And then press Ctrl and T to get the resize box up, free transform box up, and just stretch the image out so it's sort of in the middle and fills, say, 2/3 of the page, just over half the page, like that. Make it a little bit longer, and then just press enter to get rid of that stuff. And then you want to double click on the text layer and you come up with the same box you got before, and you're going to want to add a bevel and emboss to the image, a texture, and if you just take the depth down a bit to, say, about 60 odd, yeah, about 60. Don't press enter like I just did because it gets rid of the box. And then you're going to want to go to colour overlay and click on the colour here. I'm going to go for a grey colour because it's pretty bland, quite professional, stands out. And then you can adjust your texture again if it's a little bit too much. Maybe go with about 40, and then just click off. And I'm going to add an inner glow of the colour that the background is, pretty much. Maybe a little bit lighter than the background. Change keep blend mode on screen and just change the size up a bit, like that, maybe about 25. You can change the choke as well, it doesn't really matter what that's on. Just want it to be a little bit noticeable on the edges, and add a slight outer glow of the same colour you did your inner glow, and take the opacity down on that. There's a little bit of size, about 15. Yeah, that'll do. And then you got your letter there. What you then want to do is create a new layer. You can do this either using Control Shift N or Command Shift N, or just clicking on the little icon down here. Creates a new layer. You want to go to your pen tool and click up here first, and then click in the middle of the letter and hold and move your cursor so it sort of bends the line a little bit. Click over here, do the same, and just go all the way around your letter like so, curving the line as you go. The more curvy it is, well, the more spaced out the better, but also the more curvy it is, the more it looks like it's going in and out of the letter in a 3D effect, which is what we're aiming to create as the final product. That's a bad point, that one, and that one. Yeah, just leave that like that. Go up and then make sure you go off the screen as well, because otherwise it won't look right. Get rid of that point. Just quickly fix mine up a little bit, because it didn't really go according to plan. Give me a sec, guys, I'll be back with you. Right, I'm back with you guys, sorry about that. Had a little issue with, I made a bad point, I had to delete it and it all went wrong. So now you've drawn out your path line around the image, going over the A as many, well, the letter you've used as many times as you possibly can. And next you're going to want to click on your brush tool and make sure you've got the brush size here down really small. I'd use mine on like 5 pixels. Makes it really small, and then you're going to want to go to Window, Brush, and click on Scattering. And you see down here it sort of adds, it makes it a dotted effect for the brush line. It's not the normal standard thick line, it's all dotted. And then you just close that, clicking on the image over here with the arrows there, and then go back to your pen tool, right click on the pen line you've drawn, and go to Stroke Path. And then when this box comes up, you'll see it looking like this one now. You just want to click on Stimulate Pressure and make sure the tool is on Brush, and click OK. And as you can see, you get the white line. I'll make sure your colour's on white as well, sorry, before you do that. If you weren't on white, just press Ctrl or Command Z, and it'll go back and undo that, and you just follow the steps again with the colour on white. You'll see it'll give you a white line here going around the entire pen tool area, and then you just want to press backspace and backspace again to get rid of the pen tool line. Next you want to double click on the brush layer, and this box comes up, and you want to add an outer glow, preferably to the colour you've sort of based your background on, the lighter colour of your background. And then you just change the spread and the size to something that suits you. So I'm going to put this on 10, spread on about 3. Yeah, that looks alright. Add a little inner glow of the same colour. This doesn't really do anything at all. Just change these up. Yeah, that doesn't matter if you don't want to do that. And as you can see, you've got like a glowing line now around your particle scatter. And now to create the 3D sort of effect where it's going in and out of the letter, you're going to want to press Ctrl or Command plus and zoom in, and then select the eraser tool, and then just go up here and change the pixel size to whatever you want. I'm going to keep mine on about 25. It's just about a perfect size for this. And then you're going to want to rub out every other crossing area on the letter. So I'll leave that one as it with the particles going over the front of the letter, and then erase this so that so it looks like it's going behind. You're going to want to have your eraser on the feathered brush like that one. So you get sort of a feathered line over here. Also, another thing to add to your main letter would be a bit of stroke to the outside. It helps to add the really sort of stand out professional look to it. So I should have said that at the start. And to do that, you just double click on the layer again and go to stroke and click on the tick box and click OK. Then you go back to rubbing out your particles. I'm going to rub that one out, leave that one over the top, rub this one out. So it looks like it's going underneath that part of the A. You might want to shrink your brush size down to do this to make it more delicate. I'm sort of just doing this quickly because tutorial basis. I'm going to leave that going over and then erase this area. So there, and then I'll leave this one going over as well. And as you can see, it makes the A look more 3D because it looks like this is coming in and out of the letter, which creates quite a nice effect on its own. You're then going to want to go to your text tool and type, well, you'll probably normally type your name. I'm just going to type tutorial for this because, well, that's what it is. And then click on the move tool and press Ctrl or Command T to resize. To resize it so it's fairly big on your image, and just press enter. You're then going to want to duplicate the layer. So if you do Ctrl or Command J, it will duplicate the layer, and then you want to get up with free transform again, Ctrl or Command T, and just rotate, pull the top one down until it's about the same size but on the bottom, and then move up so the bottom of your new layer is touching the bottom of the original text layer. This doesn't work too well if you have letters like a Y or a G in your font, unless you use a font that's in capitals or you type your name in capitals, because they sort of overlap a little bit. However, that isn't the end of the world if they do, because you just do it to the bottom of that letter instead. And then you're going to want to double click on the copy layer of your text and go to gradient overlay and go on a gradient and change, and make sure it's on the black and white, and just change the amount of black up a little bit until it looks as if the writing is fading out on there, sort of like that. And take your opacity down, I'd say about 40% maybe. Yeah, that's alright. Leave on 40%. And then go onto your original text layer, double click on that, and add a slight outer glow to it. Try and use the same colour as your particle scatter. It sort of adds quite a nice effect around the outside of that. Just going to change the gradient on the background a bit, move the black up there, like that, so it's just a bit more black at the bottom. Then I'm going to add a space background to the back of the image. I'll leave this as a link in the description of how you can get this image. Well, I'll put it on FileFront or Mediafire and link it in the description if you just download that at the start. And then you just go to File, Open, wherever the image is, and then click on it and open it. Then you're going to want to drag it across into your image and then onto the image. Just move that up. We have it about there. And you're going to want to use the rectangular marquee tool and just draw a rectangle around where you've got your writing, and just press delete and it'll delete that. And the only thing, oh, that looks horrible because it's got the straight edge. You're then just going to go to your eraser tool, change the size up a bit. You can use, there's the squared bracket tool on the keyboard, which makes it go up. The right hand bracket or the left hand bracket makes it go down, and just increase the size like that, and erase the edges of the space background like so. Don't worry if you go really high up, you can always readjust the size of it by pressing Ctrl or Command T and just resizing like that, and then press enter. So there's a little bit more of that. I've noticed that my A is a bit small, so if you click on the A layer and then hold Controller Command and click on the particle scatter layer and press Control or Command T, and then just resize that a little bit so it comes down like so, and press enter. I'm also going to move my tutorial writing down, so just do the same. Hold Control or Command to select both the layers and then just move them down a little bit like so. You can also resize them to make it a little bit bigger at the bottom, and then you can go back to edit this layer, and mine needs a little bit more erasing around here. Might just make it a little bit bigger. Like so, and there you go, that's your logo done. It's pretty easy to do, as you saw, and it can look quite good. It looks professional, and it's very simple, basic things to do. It's one of the first things I learned how to do in Photoshop, and especially now there's sort of the new YouTube layout. The graphic design people are going to need to start learning things like logos and that, rather than learn how to do a background. So it's quite a good place to start with a logo. Gets used to using different things on the text, different brushes and everything like that. If you give a comment in the description, comment and like if you enjoyed this, guys. Tell me what you thought was good and what you thought was bad, and how I could improve in future tutorials, and also put down some suggestions of what I could do in the future. I'm always happy to help the GFX community, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it, guys, and thanks for watching. Peace.